just seen a lot of talk that Marko Arnautovic might be getting a new deal at West Ham and he might not be going to China after all. Now, I have no problems with Marko Arnautovic staying at West Ham. I think he's a fantastic footballer. I think he's one of our best players, especially on his day. If everybody's in form, he's in our top 3 players. I thought he was our best player in the calendar year of 2018. Probably would have got relegated last season if it wasn't for him. But this whole drama and saga, if you like, I think has all been about him getting more money. And I actually think his probably number one choice would be to stay at West Ham and get a new deal rather than go elsewhere for the money he'd rather get at London Stadium. But come the end of the season, he's going to be 30 years old, okay, and he's still got 3 years to go in his contract, which will take him up till he's 33 years of age. Now, I just think if we give him a new deal and he signs it till he's 34, I think we're taking a risk. And right now, is he underpaid? He maybe is by a little bit, okay? He maybe does deserve to be the highest earner of the squad, and he's not. But when he turns 33, or 32 even, you shouldn't be paying those ages of players 120 grand a week or something. And I know he still might leave. He still might leave the club before his contract expires. But adding an extra 20 grand a week, for example, just makes it slightly more difficult to offload him should that occur. And my problem is this is a short-term solution, okay? When will Marko Arnautovic potentially kick off again? If we go sign a big player on more wages than Marko Arnautovic in the summer, is he then going to want to be paid the same as that player, for example? So this will keep him happy. And listen, I'm motivated. Arnautovic is fantastic. So I've got no doubts if he was to sign a new deal tomorrow, on Saturday he would score a few goals. Between now and the end of the season, we'd have one of the best strikers in the league at West Ham. But how long does this effect go on for? Next season? For the whole season? Because this isn't the first time it's happened at West Ham. He tried the Chelsea and the Man United links, it didn't work, so now he's doing the China one. And I just think that we're setting a tone here, and that is if you want a new deal at West Ham, stomp your feet, try and get a move away, and then we'll give you a new deal. And I just think short term it might work in terms of motivation, but long term it doesn't make sense at all for me. There is a slight compromise here, I think, and that is he gets a new deal, but he doesn't get a wage increase. His contract extension, if you like, is furthered by incentives in there, goal scoring bonuses, performance bonuses for West Ham, i.e. finishing in the top 8, winning the FA Cup, etc. Give him stuff to keep him motivated throughout the length of his contract rather than an increased basic salary, which we know it doesn't work because he's well paid right now. He's still the 3rd or 4th highest earner at West Ham United. This isn't someone who is in a Declan Rice situation where he's massively underpaid compared to other people on the pitch at West Ham. He is still one of our top earners, and he wants to be paid the most at West Ham. Our current top earner is Hernandez on 140 grand a week or something. He might be leaving. I've got a feeling he will not be here in a year's time, Hernandez. January 2020, transfer window shuts. I don't think Hernandez will be a West Ham player. He might leave this window, he might leave in the summer, he might leave next winter. I think that's the last we will see of him. And then, so our wage structure at the minute is pretty solid apart from 1 or 2 examples, and that is Hernandez and Anderson. The rest of them are all in between 60 to 90 grand a week. They're all in there. Antonio, Reed, Carroll, Noble, Lanzini, they all fit in that structure except 1 or 2 of them. Marko Arnautovic is wanting to come out there and go up into the upper echelons with Anderson. I just think it's a very, very risky game by West Ham when we hand him a new deal. I don't want to see him leave, but I just don't want to see him rewarded for, as Mourinho called him, a man-child. And this is what it is, it's man-child behaviour, and I don't want to reward him for that. And it just feels like we are. Now, the other talk is the club will give him a new deal in the summer, and I think that's a clever way of the club. I think that's the club keeping him motivated, keeping him quiet, and then in the summer, different ball game transfer market wise. We probably can't accept 40 million for him in the summer. We can offload him. We don't have to give him the new deal. And I hope that's what we're doing if we are sort of giving him that carrot. My worry is that our transfer window shuts at the end of January, but the Chinese transfer window is open in the month of February, and that's a worry. Remember what happened with Jose Font last year? The window shut. Then we sold Font outside it. He went to China and we couldn't replace him. And my worry is that could happen with Marko Arnautovic. The window shuts, we don't get a replacement for Arnautovic because he's still here. then, you know, halfway into February, if Marko Arnautovic is in decent form for West Ham, Chinese club rock up with 40, 50 million pounds on the table, head turned and transfer request in. Well, that's another thing. He isn't handing in a transfer request because he still gets a loyalty bonus. If he really wants to go, he needs to hand in that transfer request so that that loyalty bonus gets written off. The only argument I will give for giving Marko a new deal is, even if you got a 25 grand a week increase, if you like, it works out a couple of £1 million a year. It's not much for a Premier League club. And when you sell a player, let's say we sold him for 50 million, Pellegrini doesn't get 50 million to spend. There's agents' fees, there's loyalty bonuses and all that come out of it. Pellegrini would be lucky if he sees 45 million of that. So that 5 million that disappears, you'd be better off just spending that 5 million on keeping Arnautovic at West Ham, if you like, because then he's got his tried and tested player. Personally, I hope the rumour is true. I hope he is going to China for 50 million, because I think we get a striker just as good, potentially even better, and younger. That's the main thing. I want to see long-term plan at West Ham. We've seen that so far. Pellegrini has culled player power. Player power existed under Bilic and it existed under David Moyes. It doesn't exist under Pellegrini. But I've got a little worry. If Arnautovic gets this new deal, it's a little bit of player power to me. It means that Arnautovic is 1-0 up over Pellegrini. Pellegrini obviously wants to keep the player. I can understand why. He's top goal scorer. But for me, it's a no deal for Marko. Anyway, if you guys have got your opinion, etc., you can send us your videos just like on your phone, like I have done. You can email it to hammerschat@gmail.com or info@hammerschat.com. Record it in landscape and we'll upload it on this channel. Anyway, drop a like on the video if you enjoyed it. Let me know your comments below.